Manish, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
We can. How are you? There
I'm
you
doing
are. We
well.
see you as well. Nice to see you. I don't know if you can see us. I don't know where the computer's probably in the back. You can maybe turn it around and show them the audience. But there's huge crowds here of people waiting to hear your story.
Now I am doubting what you're saying.
So welcome, Manish.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And hi, folks. Sorry I could not be there in person, but I thought it would be good to share what we have been cooking at Kraft Heinz.
Perfect.
So we at Kraft Heinz, we're trying to solve for what everyone is solving for, which is the changing consumer preferences. There's so much going around in the world with some macro trends like demographics and digitalization, and micro trends like inflation and COVID, and the consumer preferences are changing by the day. So we needed a solve at a strategic level to address and grow in this environment. And that solve for us, we call it a superpower. So our superpower is really agile at scale. And what we're trying to do is to infuse agile values across the organization. It has three disciplines: infuse agile values across the organization. The second is, which I'll kind of double click a little bit today, which is build the tech and capabilities ecosystem, which is to solve for some systemic issues, marketing, supply chain, HR, finance, right? And third is, once we create those solutions in the uh, tech and capability ecosystem, we scale them up. So scale up proven solutions. So with this ecosystem, we hope that we will thrive in this new environment that we're all in, right? What so we right now, and what you're doing really in that center, if you look back in the center, the tech and capabilities ecosystem, we are creating pods. These pods are solving for specific issues. Right now we have 25 pods in 9 business domains, and they are persistent cross-functional teams, business, technology, what have you, everything combined, funded separately. And people who are in the industry understand how difficult it can be to create a persistent team, cross-functional team. We are all organizational silos. So I think just spawning off these parts in the right way, in a more cross-functional, persistent way, leveraging agile was quite a challenge for us, right? But we are here now. We have 25 pods in 9 business domains. We are adding new pods every other month to solve for more and more problem statements. Yeah. And I'll give you a flavor for what these pods look like and the kind of work they're doing. I kind of masked some of the numbers because of all the confidentiality reasons, right? So, for example, in planning and logistics, which is a huge part of our portfolio, we have 9 pods, right from demand planning, demand sensing, to control tower, inventory visibility, to scheduling, raw material availability. So, we kind of take in farm to shelf, that whole value stream, and brought it under one umbrella, and you're solving for all of those issues, like inventory visibility, customer fill rate, OTIF, etc., using these with the help of these 9 pods. Similarly, revenue management, we're studying our pricing elasticity by SKU, by location, etc. We have a promo optimization pod that kind of sits on top of that to kind of drive better promo effectiveness. We have sales, we have a sales part where we're looking at our opportunities with our retail customers and making sure we go after the right one. So it's a win for the consumer, win for the customer, win for Kraft Heinz, and we have a pod on that, right? So supply chain, reduce plant losses in manufacturing. That's a huge one. There's so much wastage. There is so much uncertainty with raw materials. We're struggling with all of that. We are in food business, and in food business, raw material is very unpredictable. We are kind of dependent on Mother Nature. We have a lot of meat products. Sometimes you get more yield, sometimes you get less yield. There are logistical issues on the provider side where we source our raw materials from, and all those uncertainties really cascade down all the way to our ability to put product on the shelf. Right? So we're trying to address it with reducing our plant losses and also improving our scheduling capabilities within manufacturing. People are at the heart of everything. All the work that happens in your organization and our organization is done by people. So making sure that the performance incentivization system, recruitment systems, rewarding task force reward systems, career management is solved far more systemically. There's one more slide with some of the parts that I wanted to kind of share, but I wanted to pause here and see if any questions.
I think we're good. This is a very long day for these guys, so you might not get as much interaction, but any thoughts or questions at the moment? I would say there are no questions right now.
All right. So I'll keep it quick. I'll make it quick then.
No worries.
Um, we have these are the other areas. We got marketing. We have partnered with Google. It's public knowledge for consumer data. We are enriching that consumer data with our own one-on-one attributes, consumer, your own CDP, consumer data attributes, right? And on top of that, we've built our own segmentation and targeting engine called Kraft. So kind of huge success there, and the kind of work being done. We're launching campaigns in more and more brands by the week. So huge success. You will see some press around Craftomatic and its success, and that's really improving our ROAS lift, return on ad spend. Right? Then we have new product innovation. Again, the consumer preferences are changing every week, every month, and our ability to launch new products is absolutely critical. So we have these ADI, Agile Disruptive Innovation pods that are in each and several of our categories, understanding the new consumer expectations and launching new pods, new products in the market. So we kind of pilot it, we roll them out, etc. So that's a huge part of what we're doing. BDTV is really brand design to value, which is product renovation. So ADI is product innovation, BDTV is product renovation, where we are looking at existing products and understanding from ingredients, from packaging, from marketing, positioning, pricing, all of that. What are the opportunities and how do we better meet our consumer needs, right? So some of the trends, reduce salt, increase protein content, add more flavors, create more flavors. All of that work is happening in BDTV. And also, there are certain ingredients that have become more difficult to find. They're more difficult to find in a sustainable way. So BDTV helps address those as well. So it helps our sustainability agenda as well. And then we got supply security and procurement. Supply security really looks at the global risk profile of the ingredients we source, and ways and means to address those risks. I mean, there was, I don't know how many of you are familiar, but there was a huge shortage of raisins where we couldn't find raisins for packaging and ingredients, and so supply security kind of looks at it on a longer term horizon to de-risk our ability to put food on the table, really, right? And then procurement with spend management, supply analytics, contract analytics, etc. So here are the pods. the numbers you will see they're a little off, 30 here, 25 in the previous slide, depends on when uh, the point in time you're looking at. But this is how Kraft Heinz is trying to reinvent itself and across the board from a 360-degree perspective, from people to new products to technology across the board, trying to meet what our consumers, customers expect of us. So that's this is how uh, the center is working, and I just wanted to see if any of your organizations have a similar transformation journey. If you have any comment, questions, would be great to hear some feedback, some voices from you all. Anybody?
Bueller?
Nope.
Yeah. So do you want to, okay, we have a question here or a comment. Give us 1 second. Go ahead.
Yeah, Chris Hetchick with The Gap. And curious, we're looking at shifting into pod structures. Did you have any challenges or pushback that you had to work through, mitigate in shifting to a pod structure?
Yeah, we have had all sorts of challenges, cultural, like funding was a huge one. How do you fund these pods? How do you create a cross-functional team, breaking all the silos, the organizational silos? So this is a standalone organization sitting under the CFO of the company, right? So that was a huge challenge. And then cultural. These are all agile pods with a product owner dedicated from business. So sourcing a dedicated product owner from business was a huge challenge. I mean, business is always stretched thin, but for them to pony up a person who would be dedicatedly working on these pods was a huge challenge. And then once you have set up, then operating is a big challenge because these are all agile pods, and Kraft Heinz has been around for 100 years. There are ways of working that are really set in the organization. So these pods, when we do our sprint reviews, when we do our quarterly planning, PI planning, we have the senior most leadership of the company listening in because it directly affects business that we do. So the huge challenges in managing their expectations, making sure they encourage the team, that they kind of supportive of work in progress, MVP, all those concepts. So it was it was a rough ride, but it's been a very rewarding very rewarding ride. I've kind of hidden some of the numbers from here. You can see the template has that, but it's been very rewarding for the whole organization.
When you have
Any other question?
6 pods in a particular area, how are those pods kind of designed? Or, when you mentioned there's 6 pods for ADI or 6 pods for BDTV, how are those delineated? Or how are tasks or objectives assigned for those?
Yeah, so this is also being always debated, and I'll not say we have the right answer. I'll just say that this answer has worked for us. In areas where we felt we could consolidate the ecosystem under one team, we did so at marketing. But in areas, for example, when you're looking at ADI is food innovation, right? So meat like Oscar Mayer brands, hot dogs, etc., they are very different from dairy, which are very different from ketchup. So when we were designing the ADI pods, which was product innovation, we had to create separate pods for separate food items. So we have a pod that's dedicated to meats, a pod dedicated to dairy, and a pod dedicated to ketchup and taste elevation. We call it taste elevation. So for those reasons, we created separate pods for separate food categories because there was like very little in common between them. But it's been like common sense more than anything else. In supply chain, we had 9 because we were kind of taking it all the way from farm to shelf, and right from raw material to the schedule in manufacturing to warehousing, transportation management, to delivery to our customers, and to demand forecasting and consumption models. So all of that, huge. Some of you can relate to it. We have 2,000 customers, 100 categories, and multiply them with number of weeks. It's a huge math, and managing all that is a lot of work. So we have a number of pods because of the multiple focus that we need to have.
Right. Thank you. That's helpful.
So, sorry, if I may.
Please.
Manish, if you can hear me.
Yeah.
Is this something different than the Industry 4.0 that we are all talking about, the digital manufacturing, where you just give the input, like whatever the flavors of food is required at one end, and then you get the manufactured product produced at the other end, and then it is getting delivered? The question is this a part of this Industry 4.0 journey that you are developing?
I don't know. See, I was before Kraft Heinz, I was at PepsiCo, and before that, I was in consulting. So I have seen a lot of plants from Conagra Foods, if you're familiar, were from PepsiCo, and now from Kraft Heinz. I've been lucky enough to visit those plants. I don't exclusively work in manufacturing, but these food companies, the plants are a very messy place. If you are in a digital, like electronic, maybe Samsung, maybe iPhone, maybe I have not visited, but in some of those manufacturing plants, maybe you can expect more automation. But when it comes to food like meat density, you get X tons of meat today, and the density is different from yesterday. You were expecting pork, and you got less pork and more beef and some chicken, and then the like it's a very different world. And likewise in like PepsiCo oranges, right? You get one harvest from one place which is very different from the other harvest from the other place, in terms of not just its texture, juice, but also sweetness and everything. So the concept of changing the flavor on a click of a button is really, maybe, like, I have not experienced it, but we are very far from there. I don't know, like maybe Gap, Nike, they may be different, but we are very far from a super automated manufacturing facility.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I love your questions. Thank you for all the questions. Really, they were all very awesome. They're all awesome questions. Anything else I can help answer?
Any other questions or comments, folks?
So I'll just cover, sorry.
Go ahead, keep going.
I'll just cover one thing. Now, as you were constructing all of this, now these pods are very autonomous, very self-funded, like fully funded, not self-funded yet, but fully funded, autonomous, and empowered. But we wanted to make sure that it all ties to the strategic themes the company has, and it all works towards that larger goal. So some of you may be familiar with this, but we took to heart this whole work hierarchy that we have implemented. So we have strategic themes. These strategic themes are driven by demographic trends, geography, what the company wants to do. So we have made the effort of documenting these strategic themes, and then we took the effort of creating epics, which are really large chunks of work. I mean, I put some example here just to kind of make it easier to understand, like digital marketing. Again, these are all not exact examples as a strategic themes. And then personalization is an epic, which could take 18 months to 2 years to kind of really go to a one-to-one marketing ecosystem, right? And then you got features, which we try and deliver every quarter. And then you have user stories, which are kind of condensed within a week. So this whole ecosystem has worked very well for us. For all the pods I was sharing, they have this hierarchy of work. So we just finished a review with our CEO 2 weeks back, and it was on the strategic theme. So there was really no difference between what we discussed with the CEO and down to what the team members are delivering. They're all very well knitted together. Um, Again, I've worked with several organizations, and people who are part of larger companies, they'll realize it's a very difficult things to do, because as your organization grows, people start shooting in all different directions. So for us, I think some of the discipline that we borrowed, the agile disciplines like the sprint and the PI planning, etc., combined with the work hierarchy here, has worked really well. And we also layer our OKRs. I don't know how many of you are familiar with OKRs, but OKRs is objective and key results here in the bottom. This is the new, if you look at Intel, Google, OKRs are the new way of kind of making sure the right work is done by the right people at the right time with the right results, delivering the right KPIs. There are too many things to go right to make the whole system work right? It's not easy. So we have this work hierarchy, and alongside from performance and work and reporting, we have OKRs and KPIs, and this is all encapsulated within an agile ecosystem. Like we lean on SAFe. I don't know how many of you are familiar with SAFe, Scaled Agile Framework. We lean on that to really make this whole process work. But to us, it was the product that was important, but also the process that was important to drive the consistency. That's what I wanted to share with you. We have enjoyed the success, so I thought I'll share with you, and
Quick
happy to
question,
answer any
Manish. How many strategic themes are there?
About 12.
12, okay. And then can you give us a sense of how many epics that those 12 themes break into?
Typically, each strategic theme has maybe 3 to 4 epics.
Okay.
Right? And then each epic may have any number of features. I mean, some of them are really large, so they'll have many. Some of them are small, they're like 2 or 3. So I really don't know a count of features.
Sure. Yeah.
And user stories, there are like thousands and thousands and
Sure.
thousands. Yeah.
And the timelines for these strategic themes? What is the timeline?
They are all multi-year. I kind of put it on the right-hand side. They're all multi-year. And so if you want to penetrate a particular segment, that would be a strategic theme, and that will spawn off certain epics and features, user story. Yeah.
Okay, and then your epics are yearly. I see that, yearly, quarterly, and then sprints. Very
That's
good.
right. Yeah.
Great. Questions, comments, thoughts? Again, I know you guys have had a long day. Some of you are on East Coast time, so it's a very long day for folks. Where are you based, Manish?
I'm in Dallas. I'm in Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And thoughts, guys? Anything else that you'd like to ask Manish? Okay, I think we're in pretty good shape. Thank you so much for your time, Manish. We really appreciate it.